Will this fit into Rosemary? That's the question. I think we might need to take it apart. Definitely. We've got our solar panels! Yeah! Touch and go whether it was going to fit, but...
Good bit of room at the top height, but right round the edges, tight to the walls. Had to take the handle off the inside of the back door to get the door closed.
But as always, the staff were super helpful and helped us take the full pallet of stuff apart because there was no way it was going to fit otherwise. So we have been at the homestead for about 5 weeks now, and we've yet to sort out any electricity until now. I mean, it hasn't been too bad actually. We've managed quite well. Like, what would you say is the worst thing about not having electricity?
Probably probably not having a fridge. Keep our stuff cool, food fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the noise of the generator once we do need electric.
Definitely. Definitely the next stage in making this place a home is getting some form of electricity.
Definitely.
So we decided to look into getting some solar panels. There was a grid connection here and we could have got that sorted, but electricity here is actually quite expensive, and part of us doing this is we want to be off grid and we want to harness the sun that we have here. We might as well, it's free at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, we decided to get some solar panels, but we didn't have the biggest budget, so we just had to go for what we can afford now. So we bought an all-inclusive pack with 8 425 watt solar panels and 4 290 amp hour AGM batteries. And in this video we show you us putting it all together. Sorry if you aren't really interested in putting together a solar system and if this video is a little bit boring, but
it's what we've done, so yeah, we thought we'd show you.
Yeah, with this system that we've got, yes, it's not top of the range, but if it works for us for now, we're pretty happy with that. And there's always the option of adding in a wind turbine to help boost the batteries in the winter. We haven't been here in the winter yet, so we don't know what the weather is going to be like. We hear it gets quite a lot of rain and it's quite windy, so we'll see how we go and we can adjust as we go. We've installed it all ourselves.
Yeah, we saved about €2,000 from doing it ourselves with this system compared with a different system, but €2,000 doing it ourselves plus picking it up ourselves, which is quite a lot.
Yeah, so we were hoping and praying that it would work. It had to work. So we will show you how the installation went and how we made it work. Good morning!
Morning.
Yesterday we got our solar panels. We picked them up from the shop, brought them here, carried them the whole way down the super long driveway, and so everything is in the house. And then you had a fight to try to put together the mounting frame for the panels.
Brackets, yeah.
You couldn't find the instructions, could you?
Nope.
They were there.
Got them in the end.
After spending an hour putting it together, but got there in the end. So this over here is the mounting frames.
Yep.
We have 2 frames. Each one will carry 4 solar panels, so we have 8 solar panels in total. And what we're just trying to figure out this morning is the best place to put them. So we want the solar panels to be south facing, obviously, but
South, which is this direction. Our only problem, we thought we were going to put them on the roofs, but the roofs are sloped the opposite way, so they're all sloped towards the north or towards the west for the other part of the house. We'd also thought putting them on the flat roofs, which there's 2 different parts which are flat. One which is here, which will get a bit of shade from that big tree, plus the slope on the other roof. And the second one is just slightly too small.
behind the house, we can take you up to show you, is a hill. So south is this way, but because we're at the top of a mountain, the hill sort of starts from this way and the house is built into the hill. So there isn't really anywhere behind the house that would...
It just gets higher and there's more bushes and trees further on up, which will put too much shade over the solar panels, especially in the winter.
Everything behind the house here is definitely uphill.
Further on around past the house, our plans are to build an outdoor kitchen at this bottom part, which will carry out round to give a nice view. Slightly above that, or maybe up where these old animal houses up at the top, we will be building an outdoor sort of workshop to keep all our tools and to build things in the future. So we're thinking possibly making it to suit the solar panels for the roof, which will keep them up nice and high, and
we can make sure they're facing the right direction.
Face the right direction and have the right angles on them.
Which makes good use of the workshop roof as well. For now, we just need somewhere temporary to put them so that we can get some electricity. So we have come up with another area to put them in. Possibly on this little terrace here, which is just beside the outdoor veranda. This terrace is completely south facing and we'll get sun for the most of the day. We just need to clear it a little bit.
We might have to lose a couple of the small trees, but a few of them aren't doing very good at the minute, and there's not much on them. They're not the healthiest, but our plan hopefully is to get the most of our solar panels along where we've dug a trench.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
So let's go with that for now, with the plan of moving them to the future workshop roof in the future.
Roof, or possibly outdoor kitchen roof, but we'll see what comes first.
So we've been just digging up this tree, it's a fruit tree, to try to move it to a different location, and come across all these things in the ground. They look like bulbs of some sort. This is all our solar stuff. We've got it into the house and unpacked. Here we have our batteries, which were terribly heavy. We have our inverter and charge controller, our solar switch, multimeter, battery switch, some connected cables, and of course our solar panels. Got 8 of them sitting beside our fridge, which is just begging to be plugged in. So we're gonna make a start on trying to wire some of these components together. We are by no means experts in any of this, but thankfully it was an all-inclusive pack with everything that you need, and there's some really good instructions with it, so we'll give it a go and see how we go.
Yeah, and the instructions are in English, which definitely helps.
Yeah. Okay, so first things first is just connecting up our batteries. So we've got these battery connectors, and we're just going to screw them from positive to negative, positive to negative, positive to negative. So that will be the 4 batteries joined in series. The inverter we've got works with a 48 volts coming from the batteries, so we've decided to do them in series because it's compatible with the inverter. We have the batteries connected, and now we are just mounting our inverter directly onto the wall. Next step is connecting the inverter battery cables to the inverter. So we've got one that come up through the bottom here, and the positive connects to this side, negative connects to this side. It's a positive one in. So next thing to do is connect the positive wire from the inverter into our battery switch, and then we will connect another cable just going from this, another positive cable from this into the positive end of the battery.
So we now have the wire going from the inverter, it's up here, down into the battery switch, goes in and connects to one side. There's another connection with a lead that will run out to connect to the battery. Means you can switch it off I know.
Before we connect it to the battery, we need to, well, it came with this little battery fuse. So we're just going to pop this onto the positive end of the battery, and then this cable from the battery switch will connect into the fuse holder and into the battery. Next thing we're doing is simply connecting the wires from the inverter into the batteries. So -1 first, and then we'll do the positive afterwards. Okay, so now that we have the batteries connected to the inverter, the next thing to look at is connecting the solar panels in. One thing to mention is here we have our fuse box. My dad had come over a couple of weeks ago to help us with rewiring the house, so he's made a start on that. So we already have our fuse box here with a few things set up. So we have a wire running to the pump for our well, so that's ready to go whenever we do have electric. We won't need to bring the generator up each time, and we have some lights and some sockets already wired in, so whenever we do get this up and running, we will have a few plug sockets and things to start us off. So that's the house wiring that we have existing. And so the next stage in terms of the solar thing is getting the solar panels connected to the PV controller, and then getting the controller connected to the inverter. We've decided to put the PV controller outside because we already have some existing wiring here. We have an earth installed, which my dad had helped us with. So we have earth rods, and so we do have an earth for the house electricity system. And this is the PV guard control. So we decided to put it out here in the box. There will be wires that run from the top of it. They'll come from the solar panels, which are, that's these wires here, red and a black one. They'll connect directly to the solar panels, so we're just tidying that up a bit now. These wires will run across the ceiling of our veranda alongside the earth cable and the well pump wire, so it will run alongside them just to keep things nice and tidy, and out to the area where our solar panels are. And then from the bottom of it there are wires which will run to the inverter. So it is quite simple. We've got the wires from the solar panels coming in, and then the wires from the inverter coming out at the bottom. So we've got them currently they just plug into the bottom and come out, and they run through the wall and out the back of this box. So we haven't connected them in yet, but they're running through the wall. So it's day 2 working on our solar panels. We have it all set up, the mount for them all set up and ready to go. Will came up of the really good idea of laying tiles along it, just so if we get some rain it won't splash up and make the solar panels all mucky.
There's a lot of dirt along the bottom, muck and everything, isn't there?
Yeah. And yeah, well fixed into the ground, definitely not going anywhere.
And it is only temporary, so it'll be easily moved again as well.
Yeah, so we're just going to get started with moving the solar panels onto the brackets. Hopefully it won't be too difficult, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Go. So we did try to film putting all the solar panels together, but it is super hot here today, so the camera shut off, which is a shame, but it's done. We have 8 solar panels in a row and I think it looks pretty beautiful. It's really exciting. So next up I'm going to connect all the solar panels. We're just going to connect them in series as well, and the connections are just done from on the other side, so we'll take you around and show you. Okay, so quite simply we're just connecting the positive and negative ends from each solar panel together, so just like this. Next stage is just connecting the end of each solar panel into the wires, which will then run into the PV guard and through where we've installed it into the box outside the house. Yeah. We're so looking forward to having this bit done because of the heat.
Yeah, at least, very warm today.
At least we can get in and get some wiring work done, still be productive, but get us out of this crazy sun.
So far we've got everything connected, just the inside bits to do still. All the wires are at the minute are only temporary. If you don't think they look that good, they'll not be staying like that. They're just to get it on, make sure it all works, and they'll all be getting properly put to the walls and covered and protected. Here we have our solar panel cabling coming in through the wall, and we're just going to connect it into the inverter. It's really good, it's quite clear. It says underneath, just there where it says PV in, so we know exactly where to put it. So we're just going to wire the 2 wires up and into here. So the last and final stage in terms of wiring is to wire the live, neutral and ground wires from our fuse box into the inverter. Once again, it is all quite clearly labelled where everything has to go, so it's just a matter of screwing them in.
So that is everything wired in. We just need to neaten up some of the wires. Maybe buy some casing to fit them in. We actually plan to build like a fake wall here eventually, so it's like a cupboard and you open it up and all the wiring is behind it. Next stage is turning it all on. Do you think it's going to work?
I do.
It has to work.
It has to work. We need our fridge.
We do. On the outside. Okay, so the inverter is running, everything's switched on for the very first time.
Everything's plugged in, wired in.
Our wiring is a bit just not the prettiest, I suppose. Like I mentioned earlier, my dad helped us put together some basic wiring, which is fantastic. But we do plan to hide the wires behind the walls and things.
It is temporary.
Yeah, eventually. But anyway, for now, we're going to try to switch on a light and see if it works from our solar panel stroke battery system.
Fingers crossed.
Go for it. Are you going to hit it?
Yes, I think it's this one.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah. Yeah!
We've got light
We've got light!
from the sun. There it is.
There it is. It works! Oh my gosh!
Light.
This has come just in time because my phone is about to die again. And hopefully I can charge. What are you making a mess over there? What are you doing? You can't wait to get the fridge plugged in. Quick, get the fridge on. So yeah, we can charge our phones, no more generator, no more
carrying the generator to the well, which is quite a bit of work.
So yeah,
and carrying it back again.
And let's get this fridge plugged in.
Yep.
Everything we've bought is super energy efficient, and everything we do buy in future, electrical wise, will be super energy efficient. So hopefully we can run everything we need to from this solar panel system. You want a cold beer?
We'd love one.
From our fridge?
One for us. Thank you.
One for you, chicken? Ooh.